Hey everyone, Mr. Sujano here. Welcome to the best gaming, tech, emulation, and open source news channel on YouTube. Let's get started. Alright, we'll kick things off talking about Nintendo Switch emulation on Android with Yuzu, and this is more of an update about what's to come. Now, it's absolutely no secret that the Android community is thirsty for Switch emulation updates, specifically regarding performance. And it looks like Yuzu is working on something pretty big. At a high level here, one of the big problems with Yuzu is the fact that it overheats the CPU on phones pretty quickly, resulting in a lower FPS. And the way to fix that is to run Switch code via NCE. NCE stands for Subscribe to Mr. Sujano, or Native Code Execution. And that's something, interestingly enough, that Skyline already did. So the end result here is a way more streamlined and less intense process for your CPU, resulting in increased performance and lower temperatures. And this is a pretty big undertaking. There's no time frame on it just yet, but they are working on it. My advice to you here is just to be patient. Yuzu Mainline is 100% free. The developers are working on these changes, and they'll be updated when they're ready. In the meantime, you can keep on using Yuzu for Android, or use Skyline, or even wait for Strato. Moving on, and we're talking about Atari Jaguar emulation with BigPEmu, and BigPEmu has just released version 1.08, and there's a pretty big update here. If we take a look at the release notes, it says JagLink support is here. Rich has added it into the emulator. If you wanted to see JagLink in action, Rich Whitehouse has a video showcasing how to set it up and how it all works, and I'll drop a link to the YouTube video in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. Next up, we're talking about a very interesting ROM hack on the NES. It's called The Legend of Super Mario Save Mushroom Kingdom, and it's based on The Legend of Zelda. If you wanted to learn more about this one, I'll drop a link in the description below. You can see here the title screen has been changed significantly. The enemies have been changed significantly, and Link is now Mario. Next up, this is a quick heads up if you're looking forward to Payday 3. There's a beta happening between September 8th to September 11th. It is only for Xbox and PC though, and I'll drop a link in the description below. If you've got PlayStation, you're out of luck. But speaking about PlayStation, and also Xbox, and also PC, next up we're talking about Star Wars Jedi Survivor. And this game has had a pretty rough go at it so far, but it's received a whole bunch of patches, and patch number 7 has just dropped. They say here for PlayStation and Xbox, there's been a number of GPU and CPU optimizations, along with disabling ray tracing to get a solid 60 frames per second in performance mode. They also say quality mode has received optimizations to help reduce FPS fluctuations and introduce other visual improvements. And for PC, there's additional performance and optimization improvements, and they've also introduced DLSS support and save system tweaks to help prevent save game corruption. I don't want to say this game wasn't ready to release, but it wasn't ready to release. This stuff in patch number 7 is borderline unacceptable. Now, I don't know about you, but I think I'm being extremely generous when I say borderline. I think I can just remove that and leave it at unacceptable. Unfortunately, that's the way of many AAA games nowadays. A lot of things are just rushed to market to get your dollars, and one of the big reasons why I don't pre-order games anymore. Let me know your thoughts about Star Wars Jedi Survivor in the comments below. Moving on, and next up we're talking about Manjaro Linux, and Manjaro 23.0 Uranus has just released. This one comes packaged with GNOME 44 or KDE Plasma 5.27 LTS. And for those of you looking for something a little bit more lightweight, there's XFCE 4.18. Manjaro 23.0 uses the Linux kernel 6.5. Next up, we're talking about Android, and it appears that the Android logo is getting a bit of a makeover. They're capitalizing the A on Android, and the robot looks a little bit different. The update before this one was back in 2019, although it feels like it was yesterday. Let me know your thoughts about this new logo in the comments below. In my opinion, I don't really mind it at all. And Google does have a small write-up about it. I'll drop a link to it in the description below. And speaking about Google, next up it appears that the Google Play Movies and TV app is going away on October 5th. I'll drop a link to the image in the description below and feel free to check it out. It says Google Play Movies and TV app will no longer be available on your Android TV device from October 5th, 2023. You can continue to buy or rent movies directly through the Shop tab on your Android TV, just not through the app. At this point in time, I don't know if this messaging is specific to any one region or if it's worldwide. I guess we'll know on October 5th. And speaking about shutting stuff down, next up we're talking about Microsoft, and it appears that Microsoft is shutting down Visual Studio for Mac as of August 31st, 2024. So after that date, Visual Studio will no longer be supported or maintained, but it will be available as a legacy installation via my.visualstudio.com for users with Visual Studio subscriptions. And next up, we're still talking about shutting stuff down and still talking about Microsoft, and this time about WordPad. After 28 years, Microsoft is shutting down WordPad. It says here, WordPad is no longer being updated and will be removed in a future release of Windows. So if you liked WordPad, your story with it is pretty much done. Now, there are tons of free and open source alternatives to WordPad, and one of those is Notepad++. I'll drop a link to it in the description below. And last up here, we're talking about Rockstar, and you may have known this one, you may not have, but apparently Rockstar was selling pirated copies of some of its games on Steam. One of those being Midnight Club, the other one being Max Payne, and the other one being Manhunt. There were apparently multiple games here. There's a very detailed YouTube video that I will drop a link to in the description below, and I do recommend checking it out. Apparently, these cracked copies of games were from Razer 1911 that Rockstar just decided to use. What makes this even funnier is apparently the cracked version on Steam triggers some anti-piracy measures, which includes not being able to open doors. And nobody on the Rockstar team caught this, only people actually trying to play the game and who have purchased it on Steam. Here's a very good review. Gate and tutorial won't open. Let me know your thoughts about this one in the comments below. I don't really think Rockstar cares so much, considering that Grand Theft Auto is a money-making machine, and this is probably really low on their priority list. But anyways, that is all I've got for you in this one. Straight to the point, all stuff and no fluff. We talked about a bunch today. Let me know your thoughts about absolutely any of it in the comments below. If you like this video, leave a like. If you didn't like this video, leave a like. Hit that subscribe button. Check out my other videos. Don't tempt fate. Save your state.